Let me ask you something direct. You have been in a professional room where someone walked in and the dynamic shifted, not because of what they said, but because of how they arrived, how they moved, how they spoke. And you have also been in rooms where someone equally accomplished was quietly overlooked. Not because they lacked ability, because they did not know the rules. Most women were never taught these rules explicitly. Professional etiquette training, when it exists at all, covers the surface. It almost never touches the mechanisms underneath. Why a handshake changes a neurological assessment. Why speaking pace sets your authority level independently of your words. Why one digital communication habit is quietly costing trust at a rate most women never trace back to this specific omission. Today, I'm giving you 10 rules with the research behind each one that will permanently change how you are received in every professional room you enter. And if you stay until the very end, there's something free waiting for you. The Elegant Morning Routine Checklist, a free gift, a guide I built for the woman who wants every part of her morning, not just her closet, to be this intentional. Keep watching. Rule 1, professional etiquette is a first impression compression mechanism. Most women treat professional etiquette as a courtesy system, social niceties that signal consideration for others. That framing is too small. Professional etiquette is a first impression compression mechanism. It is the set of behaviors that determine what a room decides about you before you have had the chance to demonstrate anything else. But first, there is something you need to understand about how fast those impressions actually form. Princeton research on impression formation found that trait judgments, trustworthiness, competence, authority are formed within 100 milliseconds of visual contact and do not substantially change with additional exposure, 1/10 of a second. And the judgments made in that moment govern everything that follows, including whether what you say is actually heard. A woman I know who sits on 5 corporate boards told me she makes an instinctive credibility assessment of every new person she meets before they have completed their first sentence. She is not proud of it, but she has stopped pretending it isn't true. Resolve. Manage the first 30 seconds of every professional encounter as deliberately as the content of what you will say. Arrive composed, enter unhurried, make eye contact before you speak. These behaviors compress a favorable first impression into the window before your credentials have the chance to speak. This is exactly what our Undeniables Complete system covers in detail. 7 complete guides, including identity, presence, first impressions, social mastery, wellness, standards, and your morning ritual. Everything the most elegant, vital, and undeniable version of you needs, built into one system for less than a dinner out. It's linked in the description below or scan the QR code on your screen. Rule 2. Your entrance is your opening statement. Most women think about what they will say when they enter a professional room. The women who command those rooms think about how they will arrive. The entrance is the meeting's first data point, and it is being read before a single word is exchanged. But first, there is something you need to understand about what the entrance is communicating. The women who shift the energy of a room when they enter are not the most elaborately dressed or the most senior. They are the ones who pause briefly at the threshold before moving into the space, claiming the moment of arrival rather than rushing through it. Research on nonverbal status signaling finds that slow, deliberate movement upon entering a space is consistently read as high status across cultures. Speed reads as urgency. Stillness reads as sufficiency. A woman who runs a private equity fund told me she walks slowly into every room on purpose. Not because she is relaxed, sometimes she is not, because slow reads as certain. Resolve. Before entering any professional room, pause at the threshold for one breath. Take the space in before you move into it. This signals arrival rather than urgency, and reads to every person watching as the body language of someone who belongs. Rule 3. Your handshake is communicating your neurological profile. Most women treat a handshake as a greeting. It is not. It is a neurological assessment completed before the conversation has begun, and research shows that women specifically gain more from a firm handshake than men do. But first, there is something you need to understand about what the brain is measuring in those 2 seconds. I was told early in my career by a senior executive I admired that a weak handshake from a woman in a professional room is the single most recoverable mistake in the first 60 seconds, and the one most women fail to recover from, because it sets an expectation of deference that the rest of the encounter has to work against. Research from the University of Alabama found that handshake firmness was a significant predictor of perceived confidence and professional credibility, and that the effect was stronger for women than for men. A firm handshake from a woman produced a disproportionately positive reassessment of her overall authority. The brain reads physical grip as a proxy for psychological grip. Resolve, a professional handshake. Full web-to-web contact, 2 to 3 seconds, firm but not aggressive, with direct eye contact and the other person's name. Practice it until it is instinctive. In a professional room, it is not a courtesy, it is a credibility signal delivered before you have said anything at all. Rule 4, your speaking pace is setting your authority level. Most women in professional rooms are focused entirely on what they are saying. The women most consistently received as authoritative pay equal attention to how they are saying it specifically, at what pace. Because the relationship between speaking pace and perceived competence has been measured with specific numbers. But first, there is something you need to understand about what pace signals independently of your words. A corporate attorney who made partner at 38 told me the single adjustment that most changed how she was received in boardrooms was not what she prepared, it was how slowly she began speaking when she had the floor. Slower than felt natural. Research from the University of Michigan found that speakers who slowed their pace by approximately 15% were rated significantly higher in competence and confidence. The mechanism is psychological distance. Slower speech signals that the speaker is not anxious to fill silence, does not require the room's approval, and has enough authority to take the time the thought requires. Resolve. When you have the floor in any professional setting, slow your speaking pace by a deliberate 15%. Let pauses exist between sentences. The pause is not empty, it is authoritative. It signals that what you are about to say has been considered and that you have the standing to take the time to say it correctly. Rule 5. Your pitch is a credibility signal, not just a vocal quality. Most women are unaware that the pitch at which they end their sentences is independently affecting how their professional contributions are assessed. The specific pattern most women fall into in high-pressure rooms actively undermines what they are saying, even when what they are saying is exactly right. But first, there is something you need to understand about what upward inflection communicates. Uptalk ending declarative statements with a rising inflection, as though every statement is a question, is a pattern. I watched cost women credibility in rooms where they had every right to it. Research from the University of California studying vocal patterns in professional settings found that upward inflection on statements was consistently interpreted as uncertainty and deference, regardless of the content. A woman can state a fact or a decision with absolute internal confidence, and if the final syllable rises, the room hears a question. Rooms that hear a question do not act on it the way they act on a statement. Resolve. End every declarative statement in a professional room with a downward inflection, including when you are not entirely certain. The downward pitch signals ownership. Record yourself in practice settings if necessary. Most women are not aware of their own inflection patterns until they hear them from outside. Rule 6. The highest return professional rule costs nothing to execute. There is one professional etiquette rule with the highest cost when violated, the lowest cost to maintain, and that most women are still not executing consistently. It requires no money, no preparation, and no particular skill. And its absence is noticed every time. But first, there is something you need to understand about why this rule carries such disproportionate weight. The women I watched command the deepest professional respect were not the ones who demonstrated the most knowledge. They were the ones who remembered names, not just in the moment of introduction, but across encounters, across time. Research from neuroscience confirms that hearing one's own name produces distinct neural activity associated with self-relevance and social recognition. It signals, you matter enough to be remembered. A woman who consistently remembers names is a woman who consistently communicates that the people around her matter. In professional rooms, that communication is worth more than almost any credential she could present. Resolve. At every professional introduction, repeat the name immediately in your first response and use it once more before the encounter ends. This encodes it, signals its importance, and begins building the kind of professional goodwill that accumulates silently and pays dividends for years. Before Rule 7, the complete framework for presence, first impressions, and professional standards is exactly what our Undeniables Complete system covers in detail. A complete blueprint for becoming more refined, more self-possessed, and undeniably authoritative in every room. It's linked in the description below, or scan the QR code on your screen. Rule 7. Eye contact is not about confidence. It is about conferring it. Most women have been told that eye contact signals their own confidence. This is partially true and significantly incomplete. The more powerful function of sustained eye contact in a professional setting is what it does to the other person, not what it communicates about you. But first, there is something you need to understand about eye contact as a conferral mechanism. A maître at a restaurant where I have a standing reservation told me that the guests who made him feel most respected were not the most generous or the most formally dressed. They were the ones who made direct eye contact when they spoke to him, genuine, specific attention. Research on the interpersonal effects of eye contact found that sustained eye contact from one person toward another produced measurable increases in the recipient's sense of self-worth and engagement. The act of truly looking at someone confers a form of recognition that people remember, often without knowing why they feel positively about the person who gave it. Resolve. In every professional interaction, give the person in front of you your full visual attention for the duration of their speaking. No phone, no room scanning, no glancing at notes. This is not just courtesy, it is the most powerful conferral of respect available without words, and the people you give it to will consistently perceive you as more trustworthy and more authoritative as a result. Rule 8. The most powerful professional rule governs how you make others feel about their own intelligence. The most powerful professional etiquette rule is one almost no formal training covers, because it does not govern how you appear. It governs how you make the other person feel about their own intelligence. And the women who have mastered it are spoken of as exceptional long after the meeting has ended. But first, there is something you need to understand about what people actually remember from a professional encounter. Research on memory and social interaction confirms that the emotional residue of an encounter is retained long after specific content fades. The women I watched command the deepest professional loyalty were not the ones who demonstrated the most knowledge. They were the ones who made the people around them feel smarter for having been in conversation with them by asking specific, intelligent questions, by reflecting back what others said in a way that elevated it, by building visibly on contributions rather than overriding them. This is the professional behavior that creates the most durable impression, and it is almost never discussed in etiquette training because it cannot be reduced to a rule about posture or cutlery. Resolve. In every professional meeting, ask at least one question that requires genuine thought from the other person. Not a yes-no question, but one that invites consideration. Then listen completely before responding. This communicates that you find their thinking valuable, which is one of the rarest and most memorable things one professional can communicate to another. Rule 9. Acknowledgement is a professional currency. Most women are leaving on the table. There is a specific professional behavior that costs nothing, takes less than 10 seconds, and is consistently absent in most professional environments, and its absence creates a quiet erosion of goodwill that accumulates in ways most women never trace back to this specific omission. But first, there is something you need to understand about what specific acknowledgement does that general praise cannot. Research from Harvard Business School on workplace recognition found that specific acknowledgement, naming exactly what someone did and why it contributed, produced measurably higher engagement and loyalty than either general praise or silence. The specificity is what makes it land. General praise reads as habitual. Specific acknowledgement reads as genuine attention, which is exactly what our Undeniables Complete system covers in detail, a complete blueprint for the social mastery and professional presence standards that govern how the most authoritative women conduct themselves in every environment. It's linked in the description below. Resolve. Once per professional interaction, acknowledge something specific, name precisely what you observed and why it mattered. Not, great job, but the way you framed that question changed the direction of the conversation. This specificity communicates genuine presence, and it builds the professional goodwill that general pleasantries never can. Rule 10. The most broken rule in the workplace is digital. The professional etiquette rule governing digital communication is the most frequently violated rule in the modern workplace, and breaking it costs trust at a rate that takes weeks of correct behavior to rebuild. Most women do not realize they are breaking it. But first, there is something you need to understand about what a delayed or absent response communicates in a professional context. Research on trust and digital communication in professional environments found that response latency, how long someone takes to reply to a professional message, is interpreted as a direct signal of how much the sender is valued. A prompt response communicates, "You are a priority." A delayed response communicates, "You are not." And the damage from a pattern of delayed responses compounds. Each unanswered message deposits a small withdrawal from the trust account, and the balance depletes faster than most people realize. The most respected executives I observed in my consulting career were not the fastest respondents, but they were unfailingly reliable. If they could not respond fully, they acknowledged receipt and committed to a timeline. The message was always, "I see you and I will address you." Resolve and final synthesis. Establish one standing digital communication rule. Acknowledge every professional message within 24 hours, even if only to confirm receipt and name, when a full response will follow. This single standard, held without exception, communicates that your professional relationships are managed with the same intentionality as your work. Here is the complete framework. Rules 1 and 2 govern your entrance, the first 30 seconds, managed as deliberately as the content of what follows, because the impression formed before you speak determines how everything you say is received. Rule 3 is the handshake, the neurological assessment completed before the first sentence, which women gain disproportionately from when executed with firmness and directness. Rules 4 and 5 govern your voice, pace slowed by 15% for authority, pitch kept level on statements to signal ownership rather than deference. Rules 6 and 7 are the zero-cost rules, remembering names, and sustaining eye contact, both of which communicate that the person in front of you matters, which is the most powerful professional signal available without words. Rules 8 and 9 govern how you make others feel, asking questions that invite genuine thought and acknowledging contributions with the specificity that distinguishes real attention from social habit. And Rule 10 is digital reliability, the standing commitment that ensures every professional relationship is managed with the same intentionality as the work itself. These are not courtesy rules. They are authority-building tools. And now you have all 10. You came here for professional rules. What you are leaving with is a complete authority framework, and that changes every room you walk into from this point forward. I'll see you in the next one. Isabel.